This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and the iRacing Esports Network for the World GT Championship Season 6. This is round 15 from Laguna Seca circuit in the United States. Andrew Woodhouse here with you, and it's a great pleasure to be once again alongside longtime colleague Alex Simpson, and I'll bring Alex in a moment. But looking at the championship so far in the World GTs, it's been a closely fought contest, with Ferrari, Porsche, and BMW all at the forefront. Michael Evdoka leads the way by 11 points from Fletcher and then Challoner, Camilleri, Catroz, Lockwood, Bibby, Janssen, Tabone, and Gafenku are the top 10. And then in the AM category, Chris Wood leads ahead of Mark Woodhouse and Michael Blake, Matt Bunn, and Simon Underhill in the top 5. And then in the Teams Championship, KC Racing Esports leading the way ahead with TechSense, Fitstyle Motorsports, Radicals Online Turn Racing, Radicals Online Moat F, and then CQR Club. And Pro-Am standings are led by Team Mad. So it's closely fought out there. Bit of a look at the circuit, Laguna Seca. We've visited this a fair bit this week. I certainly have. I did the doing the BSR TCR Championship last night, and seeing a few other races here this week has certainly meant I've familiarised myself with this place somewhat. And Alex, I know it's one that you never used to like particularly well, but in recent years, I know it's grown on you. It's got a great rhythm, this track.
Yeah, it has. Love this place actually. I've had some fantastic races, some F1 Pro qualifiers if I remember, and yeah, I think I got my most points ever scored or something like that here. So yeah, fun memories of this place, and yeah, looking forward to watching some racing around here.
What do you like about it? What excites you about this track?
It's just got a nice little flow once you get into the rhythm with it. I mean, overtaking it is difficult, I have to say. So the guys are going to really have to push for their moves tonight. But yeah, I like I say, just once you get into a rhythm with it, it's a great circuit. I think awesome to hot lap. Maybe they won't appreciate these big GT3s around here.
Yeah, I mean, I can only really go off it in recent times, the races that I did last night, and one of the things that I noticed was overtaking has to be fought for around here, and the cars that these drivers will be piloting, the Ferrari 488, the BMW M8, and the Porsche 911, they are going to they're a little bit bigger than the Audi TCR in terms of width, especially the BMW, massive thing that it is. So Yeah, drivers are going to have to work hard. Do you think that the tight confines are going to be better for the racing, or do you think it's going to make it? Or do you think it might be a bit messy at the start?
It's going to be hard to tell. I mean, the guys obviously have a lot of experience with one another out there now, and there's no reason to think that it should be messy. But of course, a lot of cars on the grid, so anything can happen.
Qualifying has begun then. 15-minute session, open qualifying. The drivers can have as many laps as they would like. And, you know, qualifying around here is quite important. It is also very difficult to get that space on the track that you need in order to really maximise your flying lap, because getting held up around here, Alex, it can cost you dearly.
Yeah, I think, you know, you can see people are getting stacked up already. So we're just watching Christian Rose right now, but yeah, super important. Get yourself clear. I mean, there's a bit of draft that's going to be there, so not too much though. So it's not so critical like some circuits where you'll want to. Their guys will be trying desperately to get all, you know, get that big draft. But yeah, let's just see how this plays out. I think this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, no time set. In fact, just a few times coming in, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. And it's Ben Palmer who goes fastest with a 132.7, quickly overlapped by Andy Shield, 130.46. Very similar times, actually, Alex, to so far at least to what we were doing in the Kias. But I feel that part of that is the outlap and just trying to warm the tyres up, and they will go quite a bit faster given the way the tyres handle at the moment.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. Did they get the new tyre as well? I didn't think they did. Maybe
I'm
I
not
was
sure
wrong.
if they did.
No,
but I know.
so their first lap should be their fastest lap, of course. But yeah, you're right.
There they are actually 117.24.
New tyre model. Absolutely, it's going to take a lap or two to get them up. We won't be seeing any people crawling around or anything like that.
You know what it was? Rookie error on my part. Many people's pit boxes were before the start-finish line, so it triggered, of course, the timing beam, didn't it?
Oh yes.
To start a full lap on the way through, of course. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't start, of course, a clean blank lap. Having a look at Chris Wood at the moment, Team Mad BMW. Comes around the final corner, and he was in 15th place. What's it going to be for him? He's up to 13th place, so 118.3. Not a bad lap, 1.06 seconds away from Michael Evdoka, championship leader, just ahead of Keith Camilleri, who was in fourth in the standings, 34 points behind the Texense Fitstein Motorsport driver. And Camilleri takes to the pits. So short runs for these guys, Alex. Is that something that you?
That's kind of what I expected.
Normal
yeah, with the old tyre, 100% in and out as quick as you can get it, and go from there.
Brandon Tabone goes into 9th place, 117.9. Nicholas Helm up to 2nd place in the Nomad Sim racing car, 117.287. Closing in on the time of Evdoka, just half a tenth shy of him. This is Jack McIntyre in the Ford. Not many Fords out there. The V-Racer man has got this one under him. So we'll see how we can do. What's the? Why is there no love for the Ford GT, Alex?
Well, obviously they weren't allowed to change the car, but I think after the recent BOP update, I think actually we might see a few more people hop in there, because
just to see what it is.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a little bit more competitive now, so I can genuinely see a few more people hopping into that, certainly in an official series. But yeah, I'm afraid because they can't swap cars, we probably won't see it too much in this series.
I think I think, if I'm right, I think you might be able to swap cars, but I think there's a large penalty for doing it.
Yeah.
Points penalty. I think it's like 100 points or 200 points or something. And Michael Evdoka's championship lead is only 575. It's 575 points. Is his points total. So yeah, a large penalty for changing cars.
That makes
Definitely a
sense.
deterrent for that. Camilleri out again. Christian Rose is out on the circuit too, as is Laszlo Kotros. And Mark Fletcher in P7. See him out there.
Yeah, it's nice to see Mark in our commentary box over the weekend as well. So
Oh yeah?
did Dinner with Racers broadcast with Lee Thompson, I believe it was. So yeah, Mark having a little dabble, some comms, so that's always good to see.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, always good to see new people in the commentary box. Not if they're too good. But you know, we'll welcome everybody. Yeah, no, very good indeed. And Mark Fletcher just set the fastest Sector 3 out of anybody on his previous lap. Won't be doing that this time around, of course, by the looks of it. Fastest Sector 4 belongs to Christian Rose as he is in 4th place, just 1/10 down. The times are going to be so close, Alex. We see only 0.3 of a second between the top 9 drivers here.
Every time, I mean, it's been a little while since I've really watched this series, if I'm completely honest. But from all the times previous, this series is just always so close. All the different drivers that I'm seeing this time, you know, and the regulars as well. But still, it's extremely, extremely tight. And yeah, that's just what I've come to expect from World GT.
Yeah, for those wondering, it is going to be myself, Alex Simpson, and Adam Bath will be joining us most weeks in the commentary box from now till the end of the season. So we look forward to it. I mean, I've done a lot of, you know, World GT Championship races in the first 3 or 4 seasons, and pretty much all the time. And yeah, terrific series. I really enjoy it, and hopefully it's going to be a good one moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, who is on the move out there? I think Christian Rose is still doing personal best in, and this is Edward Raprager. He's in 25th place. 3
green sectors, so possibly an improvement coming in for him. Depends how this last one goes. Another green sector as well. Didn't move him up though.
Yeah, 18.6. Yeah, he stays, doesn't he, in 25th place. He's only 1.4 seconds off though. This is how close it all is. He's down, you know, pretty much at the back of everyone who set a time, and yet really not that far behind in the grand scheme of things. Although he's looking smooth out there. Camilleri then, 2 green sectors for him. Can he make something out of Sector 5? For me, Alex, this last corner is the worst one on the circuit. I've seen what I do, whether I brake late, brake early, go wide, go tight, never seem to be able to get it quite right.
Probably one of the hardest corners, I think, on iRacing actually. Just to nail it, it is really deceiving.
I always feel like I either go too slow on the entry or I'm too late on the power coming out of it. It never seems to be really a happy medium. By the way, Camilleri, while we're saying that, went second with a just 200ths of a second behind Michael Evdoka. It's hotting up now.
Yeah, maybe the track conditions are slightly cooling. Just lap times generally coming down a little bit for everyone, I think.
Fastest 3rd sector of the qualifying by Jack McIntyre in the Ford. So he's flying out there. Pretty decent in Sector 4 as well.
Camilleri in.
Pete Newman going well in P5. The CQR Pete Newman Media car with Lizard. Hopefully not in the car with him. could see the Pete Newman Media name back on the channel. It used to be a prominent team in the BSRTC.
Yeah, I agree completely.
He was good at running the team as well. They were successful.
And of course, I remember, what was it? We were looking at old videos where we were at the expo, like they were in Simpson Racing before that as well. So
Oh, yeah.
that was all good to see.
Oh, there were all sorts of good, good old teams, weren't they? That Adam came back with. He had loads of them for me, the ones that I'd completely forgotten about.
I think we were watching like the old introduction to that series, so how times have changed.
Oh, we've got another one planned that we're going to try and do this week.
Yeah, so I hear.
So we're going to try and get that one done. I'm going to help Adam out with that because there's a lot of drivers, a lot of cars, so a little bit unfair if he has to do it all on his own. Big BMW out on the circuit. Lewis Bibby, car 313, currently in 7th. Just under 0.2 of a second shy of pole position at the moment. Bibby's the one who had a bit of time off of iRacing, didn't he? And he's come back and he looks like he's really diving headfirst into it again. And look at the commitment through the left-hander. I love that corner.
Yeah, a little bit left on the table just on the exit there, but again, nails the final corner, gets a good run out, avoids the off-track.
BMW turning nicely. Cotros goes to the top of the timesheets, 117.2. And Lewis Bibby... must have been
not an outlap maybe.
Either that or maybe a little slightly scruffy one. But Laszlo Cotros from Radicals Online going to the top of the timesheets. He's currently 5th in the championship in the Porsche 911, and Cotros is definitely impressed in what I believe is might only be his first season in the World GT Championship. He's taken 2 podium finishes, 9 top 20s, good consistency, average finish 9th, so yeah, certainly well up there.
Let's stay with Bibby, see if he can improve. Definitely got a green second sector, so it's not a bad lap. Let's see what he does for the rest of it. In theory, his timing should appear in the bottom in a moment.
Shows you as well, Alex, how competitive this series is. When the most races a single driver has won out of 15 we've had so far is 2.
Oof.
So yeah, it's very close out there.
Sector 4 good for Bibby as well. And then he disappeared. So, don't know. Who knows?
20 drivers have stood on the podium already.
That's good.
In the series. Yeah, brilliant, I think. You want that competitive nature, don't you, really? And it just ebbs everybody on and to do better. I know we had it back in ARL days, you know. We didn't think really that we were going to be as competitive as it was, and then of course it started out, and as the seasons progressed, you know, we were looking for the odd 100th of a second here, 100th of a second there, because we had good competition against us.
That's why we put in hours and hours and hours of practice.
Yeah, that's the most practice I think I've ever done for every. Oh, and there goes Pete Harrod. It's not the way he wants to be facing, unless he enjoys looking at concrete walls. I don't know. Maybe he does.
Just a few minutes to go then.
Yeah. So at the moment, Cotros, Evdoka, Camilleri, Fletcher, Helm, the top 5.
Just wonder if Evdoka's going to get something in here. This will be his last attempt.
Andy Shield improves to 15th place while we're watching Evdoka. Checkered flag is out, Alex, so this is it for him. And it's the pit lane for him.
Yeah. Christian Rose, maybe? See if he can improve.
Not many green sectors out there for people at the moment, though. Porsche sounds glorious, doesn't it? A lot of...
Yep, and Rose is in. Everyone's coming in.
The straight six giving it some. Over the line for Barry Baird stays on a 17.7. Miguel Freitas has done a personal best in the middle sector. 14 Mad. Comes out of the final corner. That was perilously close to an off track. Let's see what he does. And it is...
No, it's a
Don't know what
120.
it is.
Yeah, 120.
20,
Or it
yeah.
didn't count, so.
Yep.
Mark Woodhouse,
So-
he crossed the line, no improvement. Simon Underhill, he's already gone through. Where is Blackall? Blackall is on a lap. And purple, sorry, not purple, green in sectors 3 and 4. So,
Wow, saving the best till last, maybe.
and maybe not. he obviously didn't like that last corner.
Oh, it's the frustration of it, though. That's what that last corner can do to you. It can ruin a perfectly good lap. Well, since everybody has finished, we're only seconds away from being able to bring you the official results of qualifying here in the World GT Championship. Season 6 of a series which really has grown over the years to be arguably one of the best GT leagues out there, and you know the talent in this league, it's unearthed quite a few gems, hasn't it?
Totally has, and I get a feeling there's going to be a huge cry out for some good GT leagues moving forward as well. So,
Is that a watch this space moment? Is it?
no. But yeah, no, I just I just get a hunch. Got a hunch.
We like the hunches. Laszlo Kotros, well, he doesn't need a hunch. He's on pole position. He knows that he is, and he's ahead of Michael Evdoka just by 16 one-thousandths of a second. Tremendous stuff. Super, super close. Less than a tenth, Alex. Top 5. Amazing. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. What in the run down to turn 1 then? What are you thinking of on these rolling starts? And are you trying to make progress? Are you trying to are you just wanting to be cautious?
I mean, certainly you want to position yourself to try and get a little, a place here or there or at the start, but I would imagine typically the guys are going to go pretty quickly and shouldn't really be too many places up for grabs, but as long as the grid's spaced out a little bit.
Well, the pace car is in front of the grid, so I'll take you through the rest of it. Keith Camilleri in 3rd, Mark Fletcher is in 4th for Radicals, Nicholas Helm for Nomad in 5th, Christian Rose in 6th, ahead of Pete Newman, High Sam driver, Lewis Bibby in 8th, Jake Blackhall in 9th, Jack McIntyre is in 10th, Barry Baird 11th, Ben Palmer in P12, 13th, Brandon Tabone, 14th, Pete Harrod, 15th, Andy Shields, 16th for Billy Fletcher, 17th, Miguel Freitas. Richard Warmingham for XVR is in 18th place ahead of Dan Kraft, with Chris Wood in 20th, Simon Underhill 21st, Ethan Bass in 22nd, Mark Woodhouse 23rd, Mike Gray in 24th, Michael Blake in 25th for Simortal, with Edward Raprager in 26th place, Jeroen Kaiser, you can see him out there in 27th place, Lee Woodburn 28th, Richard Gafenku 29th, 30th for Ben Gregory, 31st Josh Rayfield, 32nd Matt Bunn, and then 33rd at the back of the grid, don't see him there that often, Alex, is Ashley Blake Hood.
No, I'm guessing there was some issue or something like that. Yeah, it's got to be something.
For Kutros then, Alex, he's not led a lap all season. This is the crazy statistic, isn't it? He's 5th in the championship, got on the podium twice, hasn't led a lap, and obviously he needs a good start to be able to put a digit in that column, doesn't he?
Does he? Will he not technically lead a lap because he crosses the start-finish line first on lap 1?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't.
I think
don't know the answer to that, right?
I think he will. I think that's it. He crosses the line, so he will technically be down as led a lap. Maybe we'll check this after the race.
Now
So-
that is a way to take a question and drop kick it into row Z, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
I've got no comeback to that now.
I am absolutely going to look it up though and find out at the end. So, place your bets. What do you reckon? Is it
I'm
technically
gonna
at the end
say-
of lap 1, or is it at the
I'm
start
going to
of lap
say
1?
end of lap 1. I'm going to say end of lap 1. It's Radicals versus Fitzsty then on the front row. Michael Evdoka, as we said, championship leader. He's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he, mate? Since he started in this series. Don't get me wrong, he was always good, but leading the standings in this company is excellent.
Yeah, no, 100%. Very, very. I mean, he's always been quick in different series. Like I've watched him in like V8 Supercars and a few other things as well. He's always been very, very quick. But yeah, tough crowd this lot, and yeah, doing a great job.
Here we go. Then the pace car is in. We're coming to the final corner. Laszlo Kotros is going now. And the green flag flies at Laguna Seca. We're away for 20 minutes of racing in the World GT Championship.
Good start as well from him. Broke the field apart a little bit. Few people late on the brakes in the background as they come through turn 1.
Looks fairly clean so far, but it's not really turn 1 that's often the issue on the starts here. It's usually in this section, turns 2, 3 and 4, and then the run up the hill where it really is. If you get offline, you can lose some places. Here's Christian Rose under pressure, it looks like, from Jake Blackhall. Blackhall going wide just behind him.
Someone into the pits in the background. Well, on our overlay anyway. Kraft.
Fletcher up to third then, Alex. Good start for him. He started fourth behind Camilleri. Managed to get ahead of him, so he's got that Radicals Online Ferrari. I don't know what a Motor F is, but I'm sure I'll find out what it is.
Is that Kaiser with a slowdown? Someone was off track there as well, so I think with a slowdown you get that big time.
Possibly is your own Kaiser driving for Simmortal Smile Time, so Smile Time Racing, Paul Smith's team. Good to see them out there, and they'll be out there on Thursday night as well for the Apex Racing League return, of course, in TCR format this time. Kotros has done a great first lap, half a second quicker than anyone else, but...
Well, you see, now we might not know, you see, because he's led the last lap as this lap as well. What we really wanted is Evdoka to get him, so we could have found out the answer to our question, but... Come on, Michael, what are you playing at?
That is true. I might be able to get back to you later on in the night with that, who knows, of how many laps are led. It's good that the series keeps a track of things like that, because I do like all that stuff. Incidentally, Alex, looking at one column that struck me as being quite interesting is the incidents column, and Mark Fletcher has done pretty much he's done 11 of the 14 rounds so far. He's only had 29 incidents. The next best is 48 for Dave Baker, so tremendously clean.
And Dave is one of those few drivers who we sort of really, put on a bit of a pedestal as being extremely clean. So, yeah, very impressive from Mark.
Incidentally, and by the way, no Dave Baker tonight, it doesn't look like, so. There you go.
That's why he's second highest. Apparently he's not been turning up.
Indeed. As Kotros then carries on. I'm sorry if I must admit, you, Laszlo, if you're watching, tell me the pronunciation, because I haven't had time to go and find it out. So please tell me if I'm butchering your name. I hope I'm not. Try to get as close as we can. He's leading the way though over Michael Evdoka, and then Fletcher, Camilleri, Helm. It's a good battle between Bunn and Blake. Or is that Bunn and Woodhouse actually, Alex? Yeah, it is Bunn and Woodhouse. And Blake's now ahead of Woodhouse, so that's worked out well for Blake. Mark Woodhouse dropping down the order slightly. Rose and Bibby exchanging positions. I think, is there a problem for Bibby, Alex?
I'm trying to
Maybe
find.
not Bibby. Michael Gray might have had an issue as well. Oh, it's Helm. Nicholas Helm, who was in the top 5, has had an issue. I wonder if that is a slowdown. I wonder if he's been off the road. But Nicholas Helm, it was going so well. Good qualifying from him. Now down from 5th into 16th. And under pressure from the BMW. Look at the big BMW trying to come through there. Miguel Freitas, Portuguese driver, putting the pressure on.
Freitas, another driver, who's always quick. I'm just going to see if I can see where this all started for Nicholas there.
Coming down the corkscrew then.
Out of shape, was it maybe a slow down? No, but that was in the background. Oh, just massive kick from the curb. And yeah.
He did well not to hit anything,
yeah,
I think. There was also a BMW going off, wasn't there, in the background? I don't quite know who that was, but there you go. Oh, Christian Rose, what has happened? What's happened to Christian Rose? He's lost 6 places, 7 places.
Let's get a little replay of that and see exactly what happened. Here we go through the... It's not really a kink, but runs a bit wide. Anything there? No, it's okay. So it's going to be into the corkscrew. Does he lose it? Does he get a tap? Oh,
he goes wide.
Oh. He sort of caught the curb wrong, didn't he, as he come up over the hill and the back sort of come away. Just a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, and because of the sort of the undulation of that part, once you are out of control there, you haven't got all 4 wheels on the tarmac. It just all goes wrong.
Fletcher starting to close in on P2 now. Doka coming under a little bit of cosh.
Yeah, pretty relentless consistency from the top 4 so far. Anyway, with the demise of Helm and and there's Newman. Well, it's the curse of 5th place, isn't it? Because I'm sure all 3 of them were up in 5th place, Helm and Rose, and now Pete Newman has dropped way down the order. Take us through it, mate.
Yeah, just having a little look where we saw the aftermath. To the final corner. Nothing going there.
Stupid little spins, is it?
I think so. Down into turn 1, he's going to lose the back end. Perhaps take a little bit too much speed going into it.
Doesn't get on the grass, does he? Oh, it's okay there.
Yeah, I was about to say. Where's this crash?
Is it here?
I can't remember where when we jumped him. It was.
The car was.
It was. It was just over here, wasn't it? So, caught the curb, runs a little wide, and then just loses. Doesn't get off the loud pedal, and of course that, a bit hard.
It's hard to know, isn't it? Sometimes with these cars, whether you know how to save them sometimes, but the top 4 are excellent, aren't they? Really. I mean, I'm not saying anybody else isn't, but they've done a tremendous first 7 minutes, and like nobody else has got an answer. They are 5.5 seconds clear of Jake Blackwell, who's a very quick driver indeed. And Katroza, Evdoka, Fletcher, and Camilleri are going to have to fight it out between themselves for the next 13 minutes or so, 12 minutes now. So who's going to finish on the podium and be spraying a little bit of the bubbly? So we'll see.
Seems to be closing back in as well. Let me see if I can bring up a little bit of information. That is not what we were after. We were after this one. So it's kind of ebbed and flowed for a little while, but definitely the gap is coming back down to the leader as well.
We've had a crash, Alex. Brandon Tabone.
Jumped to the pits as well. Everyone's started to break apart a little bit. Closest battle actually on the circuit is this one now, which is Rich Warmingham and Richard Gafencu.
Yeah, Gafencu started 29th, but I imagine there was something that stopped him taking the start, because he's 10th in the championship. And so yeah, we know he's got some better pace. He's a teammate with Camilleri, so obviously got some pace.
And a reasonable set underneath him as well, because Camilleri's doing well, closing back in on the front three at the moment.
4/10 Sevdoka gained there on Kotroj.
Biggest movers. Obviously Gafenko up 10, but Palmer up 6 as well. Good job from him.
Yeah, Ben Palmer, very, very skilled driver, very good in real life as well. And yeah, he's always going to be there or thereabouts, isn't he?
Nice to see the Porsche at the front actually, because obviously it wasn't the car for the long run pace, but does qualify well. And of course, with this being a short sprint series, it does open it up a little bit more. I know people tend to avoid it in the endurance. Again, I don't know how the...
Oh! He's lost it!
That's a slowdown for the leader as well.
And he's pushed Kotroj over the corkscrew.
Surely Fletcher.
He's going to have to relinquish 1.1 seconds. Can Fletcher do anything about this? He has to serve it, Kotroj. And Mark Fletcher leads here at Laguna Seca. In extraordinary circumstances, Michael Evdoka completely out of control there. And, well, Kotroj's the innocent victim, Alex, and he has been leading since lap 1. I know we joked about it earlier on. He's not anymore, and here comes Camilleri. Is he going to go through as well? But here's the replay.
I think he just completely missed his braking. He was miles, and then got a little bit...
And then he dropped it on the grass on the right-hand side, didn't he? And then he gets... In all seriousness, can he get out of there? Oh, yeah, he has. But do you remember when... do you remember... You know, the iRacing YouTube fails videos that they put out on the iRacing's channel? There was a guy, he spun at Nürburgring Endurance and he went sideways into the pits and he couldn't get out.
Oh.
Do you remember? Perfectly sideways.
I do remember, yeah.
I thought he was going to do that there, Michael Evdoka. And wide again in the front, and the BMW's gone! The BMW is gone! And he's taken Parler's 3 cars, spun at the top of the hill, and there's going to be another one off.
To avoid.
It's going to be another one off. That happened so quickly, I didn't even really see who it was. Ben Palmer is one, I think the other is McIntyre.
Yeah.
And who was the one who carried on?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'll be honest, I did not see who it was.
Might be able to tell from the event viewers. Bibby certainly was involved as well. Yep. Yep.
We
Palmer,
definitely need to see
Palmer.
that one again.
Let's see if we can.
Oh,
that's the aftermath.
And then somebody going very, very far off to avoid the stricken. Oh, what happened to Bibby then? Did he just get on the dirt slightly, just drop a wheel on there? Oh well, not slightly.
Yeah, wide and just didn't let off really.
That's one of your that's one of your pet hates, isn't it? The old going off the track and keeping your foot in. Who was the 4th one then? Who was the 4th car that was involved in that?
I think maybe
it was
Fletcher.
It was Palmer, Bibby, McIntyre, and
I think it was Billy Fletcher, or unless he went off at exactly the same time.
Did he carry on? Just trying to look on the event viewer. Baird, I think. Barry Baird, I think. Yeah, that'll make sense because he's down to 19th. So yeah, that was dear me, that was that was quite an amazing incident, really, for the middle of a GT race. 5 or 6 cars involved in that one, and in all this, Helm is back up to 7th now, Alex, with all the carnage, and Rose is back up to 5th. It's like nothing ever happened to them.
Yeah, there we go. Just down 2. It's just a standard race, really. You know, Might even make it you know, a net zero for Helm here if he can
Put
get
it
another.
this way: if that happened to that kind of happened to me in race 1 last night. Started in about 19th and dropped down to about 25th. Got back up to 18th, and I figured that was an okay race.
Up 17 for Bun and Gafenku now, so really good job. And race 1's always the hardest one to do that. I know we had a few incidents, but still. Good drives from both of them.
And now Matt Bunn was the subject of some some tomfoolery on the Facebook groups, in the old memes this week. Yeah, somebody basically, you know, the video where those young kids are karting and that one's spinning round constantly. Do you know which one I mean? Just spinning around with a head in the
yeah,
air.
I did see that. I did see that.
And Adam and Sam Fitzpatrick are just saying, "Oh, Matt Bunn's lost it." Oh dear! I must admit, he did spin a lot back in the day. I don't think he's still doing it. Yeah, Matt Spun was the unfortunate nickname for him. But hey, he's done a good race so far. 17 places gained. He's a fast driver, is Matt. I know he doesn't get quite as much time as he used to.
Let's give him some love while we're talking to him.
We just don't want to do the ultimate commentator's curse now. As Gray's in there behind him.
I was going to say he's under a bit of pressure.
Corkscrew's so fun, isn't it? It's tough fun, but it is a lot of fun.
It is tough, but you're right. It is a lot of fun. When you nail it, you love it, kind of thing.
When the car just flies down the hill, it's absolutely brilliant. These guys are closing in on the immediate group in front of them as well. Underhill, Wood, Warmingham, Gafenku. Sort of the next 4 drivers only separated by 2 or 3 seconds. In fact, it's very close. If you ignore the gap between Camilleri and Blackhall, then pretty much everyone else. I don't know if you've got the old actual gap to leader available to you there, mate. I just want to show that everyone at home. There it is. Look, if you ignore the gap between 4th and 5th, it's only 20 seconds or so between. In fact, 17 seconds between 5th and 20th. It's still close out there.
Intervals as well. Obviously, it's color coded for those that haven't seen before. Obviously, yellow and then orange when it's really close.
Yeah.
Fun holds on.
Does it go red or not?
No, we don't see it go red on the actual overlay. It does on our screen, so but not this one.
Going red for the really tense battles, but yeah. Sometimes you get it in this series. I've seen it before where it's just all orange, or it's just all yellow. So that's when you know it's a close race. Just having a look at the event viewer. It looks like Pete Newman and Ben Palmer went off, but I think it was only minor. Billy Fletcher's been off as well, but again, I think just minor for him. Now Gafenku. I think he's nudged him, has he?
Yeah, I think he nudged him.
Oh, that was Fletcher. I think he was the victim in that one, Billy Fletcher. Down to 13th. He hasn't lost a great deal of time, but he's still not going to be very happy with that. Looked like Gafenku went in very hot. I wasn't sure just how hard he hit him. I think we're going to see here that it was quite a whack. Wasn't really sure whether he wanted to go outside or inside there, Alex, it looked like. Oh, and the XVR car comes on and loses most of the front of the car. I think that was that Warmingham who came through and got a real whack?
It was Warmingham, yep.
Oh, that's not going to help.
The aftermath. Minute and 40 to go though, should be okay.
Yeah, I think he's only going to lose a couple.
Oh no.
What?
I've just seen the event viewer.
Oh.
I think we did it. Let's see. Oh, it could have been worse.
Oh, he's alright.
Could have been worse.
Or is he?
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh,
so, he's alright. Thank God.
So for those, so for those that don't know, obviously we have an event viewer and a crash comes up in big red letters for us. And that's exactly what happened to Matt there. But of course, it has a minimum speed detection. So if a driver drops below that, then it will highlight that, and that's obviously Matt just triggered that there through the through the corkscrew. But,
yeah,
I thought we'd cursed him.
He did very well not to spin. Actually, that you get the tap in the rear. Look at the car of Warmingham. Look at that front end. So he wouldn't win a beauty contest, would it?
I do like the livery, but yeah, it's missing, like you say, it's missing some teeth.
You're not seeing the whole thing, are you? That's the problem.
Just don't smile, you know?
I need some dental work. I must admit, XVR, I've really done well with the deliveries, I think, this season. He's under pressure from Chris Wood now, though. And Chris Wood's another driver, Alex, who's just turned into a really, really solid top-line driver in GTs and touring cars. He doesn't seem to know which way to go. Again, into Andretti, he goes very wide. Possible 4 wheels off on the outside. Tries to get the exit on warming up. Oh, he might have a dive into the right-hander. He gave him the space, warming him, although this has opened up Wood to Gefenku's attack here. Like that corner, it's a nice fast right-hander.
Unfortunately, we need to switch over to this man. It is the final lap.
Tell you what, when he started in 4th, I don't know if he'd have been thinking about victory, but as it transpired, Mark Fletcher, he got a little bit of luck, but he did make a great start, and he was in the position to capitalise on others' misfortune. So round 15 of season 6 of the World GT Championship goes to Mark Fletcher and to Radicals Online. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, they'll still take the 1-2, won't they, Radicals there? But yeah, that's not going to be too happy with finishing second there. What happened with this Gefenku-Warmingham battle? Actually, it ended up just being Wood and Underhill battling for the spot. Warmingham was able to hold on.
Escaped. What you didn't realise was that's because his car was a lot lighter than it started the race with. Billy Fletcher, who had a couple of unfortunate incidents that weren't really his fault. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one, action-packed, of course. And of course, stick around here on Apex Racing TV for 2 more races tonight in the World GT Championship. We're not going anywhere just yet, though, because after the full results, it will be the reverse grid wheel. We're always interested to see what that brings us. That could be anything. And Alex, reverse grid races, as I know from this week, reverse grid races around here can be very frenetic indeed.
Definitely. I think this is where it get really spicy. Not that that wasn't spicy enough.
That was pretty spicy. Mark Fletcher wins then in car 111 by 1.5 seconds from Laszlo Kotros, who led most of the race. Was unfortunate, getting caught up in someone else's mistake, really. Keith Camilleri in 3rd. Jake Blackhall will be delighted with 4th, I think. I think that's the best he could have really hoped for. Christian Rose in 5th. Nicholas Helm, who was running in 5th, went way down the order and then back up to 6th as a result of everyone else's misfortune. Andy Shield in 7th. Pete Harrod 8th. 9th for Miguel Freitas. 10th for Richard Warmingham, who was missing most of the front end of his car. Richard Gefenku in 11th. Chris Wood 12th. Simon Underhill in 13th. Michael Gray in 14th. Matt Bunn 15th. 16th for Billy Fletcher after being hit off at turn 1. Barry Baird got involved in the crash. He was an innocent victim in the crash at the top of the hill. Ethan Bass in 18th, and then 19th for Mark Woodhouse. 20th, Michael Blake. 21st for Ben Gregory, ahead of Edward Raprager in 22nd. Jack McIntyre in 23rd. Lewis Bibby 24th. 25th, Josh Rayfield. Jeroen Kaiser in 26th place. Yeah, Dan Kraft in 27th. And Michael Evdoka, after the mistake he made going up the hill into the corkscrew, 28th place. And then just behind him, was Ben Palmer in 29th place, 30th for Pete Newman, 31st for Brandon Tabone, and then the only two retirements were Lee Woodburn and Ashley Blake Hood, who I don't think took the start, Alex, actually.
No, I don't think so.
Well, first reverse grid wheel for you for quite some time, mate. Hopefully you got the bribes in nice and early for this one.
Oh, well, let's hope so. See what they do. I'm sure we've got it all automated now. Right. New wheel. This obviously just refreshing myself as well. What numbers have we got on this wheel? So looks like they start at 14s. We've got a couple of 14s, a couple of 16s, a couple of 18s, a couple of 20s, a couple of 22s, 24, and that looks like it. So yeah, not like huge wheels like we've seen before, and good opportunity, you know, to double up as well. I quite like that. Gives some option. Right, here we go. Right, we have landed on 22, and I want to apologise you didn't get the funky music. I'll sort that out next time.
22. Edward Raprager is going to be on pole position. So I think he's going to be very, very happy in the Fury Sim Sport car, starting at the front with Ben Gregory alongside him, Michael Blake and Mark Woodhouse behind, Ethan Bass in fifth. I think it's going to be a good one. So stick with us here on Apex Racing TV and the iRacing Esports Network for more from the World GT Championship. See you soon.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Laguna Seca then. The World GT Championship reaches round 16 of the season. Andrew Woodhouse and Alex Simpson here on iRacing Esports Network. Very happy to be bringing this to you. And this fine championship, well, starts off round 2 with a reverse grid. And Alex, 22 cars reversed and could provide some interesting action out there.
I'm looking forward to it. 22, not, I mean, it's a sizable amount of the field that's out there. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. Like I say, this at the start of the broadcast, I said this is a difficult track to overtake. So almost as high as reverse grid as we can get. So it's going to be interesting. Of course, those that aren't aware, we've got Pro and Am drivers out there. Red is your Am, white is your Pro. So watch for the Pro guys coming through. Maybe we might get an Am win in this race, who knows. But Barry and Fletcher and Gafenku all pretty far up that grid.
Yeah, and I think that those 3 drivers that you've mentioned could well be in line for a win, mostly because they were the ones who were sort of taking out in other people's mistakes, especially Fletcher and Baird in that big crash in the middle of race 1, which involved 6 cars, which was quite amazing considering how far through the race we were. So the grid is Edward Raprager is on pole position ahead of Ben Gregory, Michael Blake in 3rd, Mark Woodhouse in 4th, Ethan Bass in 5th, Barry Baird 6th, Billy Fletcher 7th, Matt Budd 8th, 9th for Mike Gray, 10th for Simon Underhill, then Chris Wood, and then Richard Gafenku in 12th. Richard Warmingham is 13th with Miguel Freitas behind him, Pete Harrod in 15th, 16th for Andy Shield, Nicholas Helm in 17th. Ahead of Christian Rose and Jake Blackhall. Keith Camilleri starts 20th. Laszlo Katros in 21st. He was the pole sitter in race 1. Mark Fletcher, the winner of race 1, starts 22nd ahead of the very quick Jack McIntyre. Lewis Bibby in 24th. 25th, Josh Rayfield. Jeroen Kaiser in 26th. The Dutchman ahead of Dan Kraft in 27th. Michael F. Ducker in 28th. 29th for Ben Palmer. 30th, Pete Newman. And the man from Malta, Brandon Tabone, is at the back of the grid. 31 drivers for this one. And yeah, I reckon this is going to be exciting. Raprager then. What's the strategy here, Alex, do you think? Go early or wait until the green?
I
think
think
it's a short run once you get past the start-finish line.
It is. I think go early and let the guys battle it out behind, you know, try and get a second lead going into that sort of first sector.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing. It was a good run by Woodhouse, wasn't it? He wasn't caught napping, that's for sure, Mark Woodhouse. Raprager leads then into turn 1. Woodhouse trying to go around the outside. He might have to slot into line in front of Michael Blake, who's in 3rd. Barry Baird up to 4th. And then it's Matt Bunn up to 5th. He started 8th. Great start from him. Bass up to 5th now. Ahead of Bunn. Fletcher and Underhill 7th and 8th. Gafenku and Wood round out the top 10. It's Raprager, then it's Woodhouse. It's 3/10 apart. Just one drive. Oh, Matt Bunn down the order. Off in the middle sector, Matt Bunn. Quite sure what happened to him.
All the way down to 27th as well. Get a little replay of that.
So, car goes wide alongside him.
Just
and
tagged,
he
yeah.
it's the Brittech car. It's the who is that? I'm not quite sure who collected him. But yeah, Bunn getting shuffled down the order. And now he's in a big pack with a lot of BMWs. A lot of big, thick boys in there. Oh, the inside for Barry Baird into 3rd place on Michael Blake. Has he made it stick? Yeah, I think he has. That's nicely done. Not like he was very, very late on the brakes, but seemed to get away with it. Oh, wide for Bass. Allow Fletcher to close in. who's had the best start out there. It looks like Andy Shield. He's getting 7 places. He's now 9th. He's after starting in 17th place for Shield. Veteran of this series. A lot of series on the channel. Oh, mistake by the leader. Woodhouse closing in. Nice exit from the corkscrew as well.
That's exactly what I thought there. Really nailed that. It's such a shame that it's just a little short run, isn't it, down there? It's not really a place that you can get a move done. I do like the mad livery on the Porsche though. It does look very nice. Works well.
Looks good on everything, that
Well,
livery, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But I have to say, most liveries look good on that car as well. There's something about that
that's
car.
true.
It was very, very nice.
I mean, this is a car that managed to, make a livery that was basically, what was it? A pig, wasn't it? Different parts of the pig, wasn't it? At Le Mans. Even that looked pretty good on the 911. So.
So
Google it if you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen.
Barry's closing in. I'm going to jump on board for a second, actually, because
They do call it the porker, don't they?
they do. They do.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was that one. I'll see if we can find that out. Ah, yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's a livery from the 70s, I believe, which they brought back.
Ah, there you go.
But yeah, it's basically like a map of where the different cuts of meat are on a pig. It's
Huh.
weird. But it even looks quite decent on that car.
So all of
So
a
we don't have
sudden,
the-
Wood under pressure, where he was putting the trying to put the moves on. Now Barry's closed right in, and that Nomad
That's
Sim
Woodhouse.
Racing white car. Yep, trying to
Woodhouse,
get.
of course.
Yeah, sorry,
And
Woodhouse.
Wood is in 7th.
My bad.
So now we might get Wood versus Woodhouse at some point. Fletcher sets the fastest lap, and Baird going for 2nd place down the inside. Nice rotation in the BMW. Really nice on the braking there, wasn't it?
Yep, and through. I said
Good
it was going to be
rotation from the-
difficult for an AM to win this one, and yeah, true enough. I think right now it's not over with yet, but yeah.
Bunn and Blackhall, I think, is it? I've had some issues. Oh, Bunn and McIntyre.
Oh, that's
Mike
great.
Gray. Oh, surely he could drive forward out of there, maybe. I don't know. Ethan Bass then. P10. He's dropped down 5 places from where he started. He clobbers the sausage curb. Oh, there goes Christian Rose in the Porsche flying across the gravel. It's a BMW that spun, I think, in the middle of the corkscrew as well. So Rose all the way down. Oh, it's a real shame for him.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
He's got a little nudge from behind from the XVR, and that sent the two in front of him around.
That was very similar to Evdoka's incident in the, in terms of the fact that he just clipped the car in front going into the corkscrew.
Oh, we missed the change in the lead.
Oh,
Need to find that as well. Let me see what I can do.
Baird ahead of Rap Rager then.
Here we go.
Going to be a textbook one into turn 1. He was good on the brakes there the previous lap. Gets a nice run out of the final corner. Does he go for the inside here? Oh yeah, he does, yeah. Nicely done.
Good clean move.
Edward didn't quite defend all the way over to the white line, and yeah, he paid for it with that one. Ooh, it's Fletcher looking a little bit out of shape. Into the corkscrew, but he got a nice exit, that's for sure. That car looks really, really... the BMW in the early stages really looks planted out there.
Definitely one of the most stable cars, I think, all round wise. So,
But it's so big, can you imagine if it wasn't?
Yeah.
I still don't, like I say, I still don't know what a Moat F is, but I'm sure I'll find out.
Yep, no, me neither. If they come in, they can tell us, can't they, on the... I want to say it's a podcast, is it not, actually?
Is it?
I think it might be.
Oh, there you
I
go.
might be wrong. So,
I think-
tell me on
we'll
the
try-
tell me on the
we
chat,
need to ask
yeah.
somebody.
Yeah, I'm
We need
sure.
to ask somebody. Where's Josh Thompson? He must know something. He used to drive for them. Now, oh, Newman and Freitas look like they've had a crash. There's a BMW off as well.
Yeah, let's see what happened on that.
What's happened then to Pete Newman?
They're on the same bit of real estate, so I think you're right here. Little touch from behind.
Oh.
Yeah, Newman just getting into
Oh!
Miguel.
Over he went.
Thought he got disqualified as well for the moment. That would have been a bit unfair, wouldn't it? But
Yeah, I
in the
wonder
end, he
if
didn't.
Freitas was. I wonder if Freitas was having some internet issues, and that might have been why Newman went into the back of him, because it was very clumsy, you know, in general, wasn't it? This is Fletcher versus this is Billy Fletcher versus Woodhouse. Fletcher gets it done. Nicely played there. This is the iRacing Esports Network, and it is the World GT Championship. Thanks for joining us here on this Monday evening. Andrew Woodhouse and Alex Simpson with you for Apex Racing TV. We're seeing a good scrap. We saw a good, sort of quite a chaotic first race, really. And race 2 is no exception. There's somebody on the grass a bit further back, actually. On the way up the hill, might have been Chris Wood. Is he going to lose out to Richard Gafenku? He isn't. Nicholas Helm set the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap. He's up to 15th then. Just over half the race still to go.
And of course,
Gafenku
we flipped
has got
away,
past
and
Chris Wood.
yeah, we flipped away, and there was an overtake. Typical.
Yeah. Gafenku through into P8. Ferrari man on his way for the KC Racing Esports team.
Rich has done a fair bit of overtaking, of course, in that last race as well. So, one that is familiar with working his way through the pack.
Yeah, his teammate Keith Camilleri is also in 7 places. Brandon Tabone, the other driver in that organisation, up into 22nd from 31st on the grid. He started stone dead last. Fastest laps then for the category: Pro 119.1, Pro Am 119.3. So that is that's very good
close.
so far.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I was expecting to see a bit of a larger gap there, but not at all.
Chris Wood is the Am driver, isn't he, with the 19.3?
Indeed. Oh, Warmingham dropping down the order. What's going
Oh.
on? That's in the wall.
And that BMW, they just got a new front end on that, and yeah.
Yeah, the XVR team principal will be looking at him when he gets back in that pit and just shaking his head, I'm sure.
It's not like him to make mistakes. Of course, it wasn't a mistake in the first race, was it? I think he got crashed off, didn't he? This is Raprager then, and Fletcher into the Andretti hairpin. And Porsche stays ahead of the BMW. Cotros sets the fastest lap, 119.142. But he's down in 18th, so progress hasn't really been easy for him. He's only up 3 from where he started, is Laszlo. Pete Newman, your own Kaiser have crashed apparently out there.
Yeah, I know Pete and Kaiser were next to each other after the last incident that we saw Newman in, so it's a shame. Oh, what's going on here?
Oh, is he going to go for it? Oh, that's Camilleri and Lewis Bibby then going at it up the hill. Look at this pack of cars. And it's Bass, Fletcher, Camilleri, Bibby, Hjell, Blackhall, Kraft, I believe it is. But you can see that in the battle box indeed. Fletcher goes through, up into 10. The man who won race 1. He's driven a very good. Oh, Woodhouse!
down.
What's happened to Woodhouse? He's over. Oh, and he's over. He's not out. Gonna have to try and get back on. We're not going to watch the rejoin, thank goodness. Oh, I don't know what that was about.
Oh, dear.
What's that? That's a big mistake. Huge mistake from Michael Blake.
And I have to say, I think Michael Blake was too busy looking at what was going on behind him there, and not at all in front.
He tried his
worried
very best, didn't he, to...
It wasn't
slow
an
it down.
attempted move or anything like that. It was just a defensive late break, and yeah.
It's not like he wasn't paying
completely got it
attention
wrong.
in front of him, wasn't it? Oh! That's Fletcher going wide, not wide enough. Of course, these car in this car, Alex, compared to the, I nearly said the Kia there. I know, the Audi. If you get on the grassy bits, it's not too bad. In this car, you can get back on. Oh, look at that move! And that's Andy Shield having a look on Blake, trying to get the Ferrari past the BMW. Look how wide it is. I'm surprised how he's going for it on the inside.
Good move.
Andy Shield, that's a brilliant move. I'm surprised he managed to find room past that thing.
No.
It is massive though. It makes the Ferrari look like a child's car. You know, one of the ones that they go around the supermarket in.
Yeah.
As late on the brakes, that is Chris Wood.
Obviously, Wood trying to recover.
Yeah, he goes through. That's nice from Chris Wood. I've always wondered. I've always thought that Chris Wood is better than a Pro-Am driver. I will say that in all the series I think I've seen him in. But somehow he still keeps getting put as an Am. So whatever he's doing, just keep doing it. Because it seems like he's good enough to do well, but not good enough to get noticed by the Pro category. Oh, what's that? That's Bibby and Bass, isn't it? It's all about the Bass. Bibby. What can he do? Trying to reel him in. What a sight that is, Alex. All those GT3 cars flying. Sorry, GTE cars flying down the coast.
Yeah, how many stories drop is that down there? It's ridiculous.
7.
isn't it?
Jake Sperry said it was 7. So yeah, I mean that's 7 stories. That's ridiculous. It's like that's like 2 houses. It's like 2 of my house and then an extra little bit on the top. Bonkers. Can you imagine? When you've seen people try to walk up it, haven't you? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look at this. Here comes Lewis Bibby. On wide for Bass, and that's going to be the place for Bibby then. Up into 11th place.
Bass now having to defend again.
This is where it gets a bit crazy, Alex. I had one like that last night where and exactly the same thing happened. You just get swamped, you get offline slightly. You might as well be on the wrong line at Daytona in the super speedway. Just get freight trained. Oh, it's at the other side of the United States. From Monterey, California, and through goes. Oh, that's very close. How close was that to a quarter panel situation?
Yeah.
Oh, the Porsche! The Porsche has never made that one.
I was gonna say not as close as that one, but yeah, they didn't
That's
survive.
Katrosh, and look, those two are banging panels. Oh, the
who's that?
BMW spun.
Blake.
That's Michael Blake off at the bottom of the hill. Katrosh, I don't know really what he was doing there, to be honest. He flew into the braking area. If you're one of the quicker drivers in the series, you can't always brake at your normal braking point when there's traffic. Got to allow some margin. Here's Katrosh again. It's Evdoka and Katrosh, isn't it? Evdoka, the championship leader. He's right ahead of him now, and that move has cost Laszlo dearly. Because Evdoka is now through. Started 28th. He's up to 15th. And he's flying. Dan Kraft next up. Alex, very good driver. Maybe not so maybe not so experienced in the GT cars compared to, say, touring car racing, but, you know, he's always there or thereabouts, is Dan. He always does his best.
And another driver who knows perfectly well how to race these reverse grid races, so
Oh, yeah.
he'll pick his move, know when to have a little look, although Michael
Oh!
sticking his nose in and
That
just...
hasn't worked, my friend. That's not worked. Ah. Avdoka, last of the late breakers, but just not executed well.
I was going to
Should
say
give us
that
the lead
Michael
to the corkscrew.
probably leading this championship because of his experience in this kind of format as well, and again, will be picking and choosing when he wants to go for these moves. And
Yeah, that's
yep,
crap
I'm
down to 70.
afraid to say that was not a good one.
Those are the sorts of decisions, and I know we're only halfway through the World GT season, not even that, but those are the sorts of decisions that start to creep in when you're fighting for a championship, Alex. You start to do things that you just wouldn't normally do. It sort of affects you in a weird way, and I don't know if Michael, I don't profess to ever know what a driver's thinking, but it certainly could come into play.
Yeah, like you say, little things like that just play on your mind. So maybe
Oh, that
good
looks like
battle.
that looks like a good move as well, doesn't it? By Simon Underhill, getting up into 4th place. Nice big dive in the BMW into the corkscrew. You know, it's crazy how many overtakes we're seeing into the corkscrew, Alex. Because
Yeah.
last night in 3 races, barely saw any in my races. That's in a touring car, which is a bit smaller.
Yeah, obviously touring car with its ABS and things like that. The GT doesn't, so it
yeah.
is easier to lock them up and things like that. So
There's
maybe
more
it's just,
variation on the braking, isn't there,
Yeah.
then, between the drivers?
it's just opening it up a little bit.
That's true, actually.
Minute to go. Where is our leader? He hasn't had too much airtime because he's just been miles out in front.
What a lead for Barry Baird. Well, I'll tell you what, he wouldn't have been happy after race 1 because he got caught up in someone else's nonsense. And, but inadvertently, Alex has put him on pole position. Not pole position, in 6th place. Put him in a good spot. Everyone else has fallen off. He's got the overtakes done when he needed to. And he's going to romp home with an 8.5 second win.
Yeah, these are always nice to get when you get towards the front relatively quickly. No other pro drivers around, and yeah, good clean drive from him. Well deserved of this victory.
Barry Baird. Oh, I tell you what, he's got another lap. He's going to have another lap.
Oh, so he is.
It was just before 20 minutes.
Should have checked up, Barry. He had 8
He's got 8
seconds.
seconds, he could have done it, couldn't he?
Exactly.
Now he's got a lap, another lap, and he's got some traffic in front of him. Well, you know, we'll see, won't we, I guess. The lead has grown, actually, to 8.8 seconds over Billy Fletcher, so I don't see that being a problem for him, but yeah, you got to be careful still. And this is Fletcher and Wood battling it out for P7. Camilleri and Bibby are in there too. 2 by 2 into what I call Lorenzo corner, because Jorge Lorenzo had a massive one there in MotoGP a while back. And then up the hill towards the Rahal straight. Now into the corkscrew for the last time. But here comes Barry Baird, Alex. He's going to come through this time and take the win here at Laguna.
Yep, congrats Barry. And Nomad Sim Racing, great run. Billy Fletcher also with a good run as well.
Yeah, tremendous stuff by Fletcher. He was another one who got the wrong end of... Well, he was hit by that man there, Rich Kafenko, wasn't he? And 2nd and 3rd in race 2. Simon Underhill, great drive from 10th to 4th. Andy Shield from 16th to 5th. Miguel Freitas putting pressure on Michael Blake. Oh,
Another little blink, which kind of justifies our little comment, I think, earlier on, that perhaps...
Yeah, it's not like
Newman,
Pete Newman to just run
blink-
into the back
yeah.
of another driver, so... Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I really enjoyed that race. That was a great scrap all through the field. The only person it seemed like it was quite easy for was the leader, actually, Alex. And Barry Baird deservedly takes maximum points. Right then.
It's got a few more still to come through, I think.
Ah, yeah, there we go. You're on Kaiser and Mike Woodhouse, who've limped.
What?
Has he run out of fuel?
I was about to say, he's not made it yet. That is...
Oh, no, he's going
Oh,
again.
he's just waiting for someone.
Oh, he's
I was
waiting for Woodhouse, because I
given-
think they might have crashed into each other, did
Giving
they?
the place back. Oh, that's good driving.
Well, we know your own is always all about the sportsmanship out there. Many wins in the... several wins in the BSRTC over the years for your own Kaiser. Right then. Finishing order for round 2 of the evening, round 16 of the season 6 of the World GT Championship. There they are. Barry Baird wins by nearly 9 seconds for Nomad Sim Racing over Billy Fletcher. Richard Gafencu in 3rd. Simon Underhill was the Pro-Am winner in 4th. Andy Shield in P5. Edward Raprager, he started on pole, put up a good defence of that pole and finished in P6. I think he's still going to be very happy with that. Mark Fletcher in 7th, Keith Camilleri in 8th, Lewis Bibby in 9th, ahead of Chris Wood, Jake Blackhall in 11th, Ethan Bass in 12th, Nicholas Helm in 13th, Laszlo Kotros in 14th, ahead of Pete Harrod, Brandon Tabone in 16th. He started at the very back of the grid, so that's a very good drive from Brandon. Dan Kraft in 17th, we saw what happened to him near the end. Ben Palmer in 18th, 19th, Michael Evdoka, then Michael Blake in 20th, Miguel Freitas P21 for the Portuguese, Christian Rose in 22nd, Ben Gregory 23rd, 24th, Pete Newman, Josh Rayfield in 25th, 26th, Richard Warmingham, Mike Gray in 27th, Mark Woodhouse 28th, ahead of your own Kaiser, as we saw. And only 2 retirements with Jack McIntyre and Matt Bunn, sadly.
Yeah, poor old Matt got that hard hit, didn't he, on that one?
Yeah.
Good race,
Yeah,
though.
and then after that, he was in a battle at the back, which I think ended badly as well for him and a couple of others. Right, so onto the reverse grid for race 3, and it was 22 last time. What did you say it can go up to again?
26, I believe. 24. 24, sorry.
24. So we almost had the biggest reverse grid that we can get. And 24 would be Pete Newman if it does indeed become that. So let's see what it's going to be. So take it away.
Oh, and I almost forgot the music. 20th!
20th is going to be Michael Blake. So the Simortal Smile Time team are going to be very, very happy with that. He's going to go on to pole position for race 3 here on the iRacing Esports Network. So there's more action from Laguna Seca coming your way right after this commercial break. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
It's the final race of the day here on the iRacing Esports Network in the World GT Championship at Laguna Seca. Andrew Woodhouse and Alex Simpson with you, bringing you all the action from the second reverse grid race of the day. And it's going to be a good one, Alex, isn't it? If the first two are anything to go by.
Thoroughly enjoyed the first two races, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be another good one. Reasonable reverse grid as well. I think we've lost a few people from the first couple of races, unfortunately. 28 on the grid, so yeah, this could be very interesting.
Yeah, and I think what sort of what's the track temperature like out there? Looking at all this.
Now you've asked me a question. I know the ambient temperature is 20 degrees. I'm looking at that right now, but the track temp, yeah, not so much. Drivers are just rolling off of the onto the pace lap now. See if we can't go up in the old blimp.
It's one of those circuits that you can really see. It's quite a compact layout, isn't it? Like a lot of it is. It's not like Spa, you know, where you can never see multiple parts of the track at once. With this, it's that bowl effect, isn't it? A bit like what Brands Hatch gives you.
Do you know, I mean, I love Brands for being able to watch so much of the race go on. Of course, if you're watching the Indy circuit, it's fantastic.
The only bit you can't see is when they go behind the trees at Druids.
Yeah. But yeah, I imagine there are some places here where you could see a lot of it. I don't know exactly. Like I say, never
Maybe
been
if you
there.
stood,
But
maybe if you stood on the infield, you know, of the pit, on the inside of the pit straight, you could probably see quite a lot of the.
I imagine
back of the
there's,
circuit.
yeah, I imagine there's quite a bit, and obviously coming from sort of the corkscrew down all the way that way. So yeah, it'd be interesting.
I think Fuji's a bit like that as well, similar sort of layout to that. Do miss Fuji from Gran Turismo. Actually, that just random thought of the day. Right, having a look at the grid there. Michael Blake is going to be on pole. Michael Evdoka in second, third for Dan Kraft. Brandon Tabone in fourth. By the way, Michael Evdoka, what a reverse grid that is for him. Pete Harrod in fifth, Laszlo Kotrosh in sixth, Nicholas Helm in seventh, Ethan Bass eighth, Jake Blackall ninth, and Chris Wood rounding out the top 10. Well, Michael Blake was my old team principal in the BSRTC in at some point in 2018, and so I do hope he does well. But I hope he also makes his braking for the last corner a bit better than he did in the last race as well. So I'm sure he'll get me later for that one. The green light is on then. We are away at Laguna Seca. And it's a good start by Michael Blake. Oh, there's a couple of guys going for the inside. A bit further back, I think one of them might have been Camilleri. See race 2 winner Barry Baird making moves as well. Well, the first lap's been nice and clean, hasn't it, this
night.
This evening?
Yeah, all night, and that's usually the one where we see a lot of the problems, especially in the reverse races. So yeah, very impressive.
Good
Blake
start
with
by
a good
Blake.
start.
Stretching his legs a bit as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Nice to see that we haven't commentated for a little while, but we're still in each other's heads, mate.
That's it, mate. It's no, genuinely a pleasure. It is our 10th year of commentary.
Is it really?
It is our 10th year. Yes, it's 9 years in time, but it's the 10th year that we are approaching in the next few weeks, indeed.
It's come a long way since that first ever highlight commentary video that we did.
Yeah, I want to say that was September or October 2010.
That was a lot of hours to get out a 20-minute video. That was.
For like 3 hours, wasn't it? As for those who don't know, when we were back at the old Apex Racing League, which now, which eventually sort of turned into Apex Online Racing, effective. We were the first people to sort of come up with doing the highlight packages post race and actually commentating over them and editing them. And we sat down for highlights of Barcelona in season 1. we did this. This is back when we used to do these pre-recorded. It took about 3 hours for us to get through because we were laughing so much. So we decided after the first one that we were just going to commentate them as live, and it's worked well for us since. And that's what, funnily enough, that's what we've been doing ever since as well. And we've seen some great action tonight, mate. It's the first commentary I think we've done together for probably over 6 months, and we've had a hell of a good time, and we've seen some great racing out here. It's been largely very, very clean as well, with the exception of maybe just a couple of... It's been mistakes, though, hasn't it?
Oh,
It's
slow down.
Oh, that's Kotroj, Hungarian. And Camilleri's through. But yeah, the problems that we've seen tonight have just been simple mistakes, really, haven't they? It's not been necessarily intentionally bad driving or reckless driving or anything like that. That's a good move, by the way, by Lewis Bibby on Jake Blackwell into turn 1.
Yeah, great move. And yes, you are totally right. I mean, it's extremely frustrating for the driver on the receiving end when driver makes a mistake. But yeah, that's just racing sometimes, isn't it? So I think as long as the driver that makes the mistake puts his hands up and apologises, it's it's all good in terms of sim racing anyway.
Oh, look at that for the lead. Michael Blake coming under severe assault. Look at this. Helm, Bibby, Tabone, Harrod. Oh, no, control is Helm. And he smashes into Michael Blake. And that has ruined both their races, surely now. Helm just losing. Oh, and there's a spinner, and it's Newman. He's been hit from behind. Oh, what a mess. Helm going in far too hot here. Let's see. He gets 2 places, Alex. Coming up the hill already. He wants the lead. He's going for it all. He brakes and he gets on the grass, and the car goes light as he hits the top of the hill.
I have to say, I think he got greedy there.
Yeah.
You know, he got 2 places there and was in a really strong position, and it just wasn't the room. He needed to back out of it, take those 2 places that were just gifted. But
that's
no.
it. It's a +2. You're up in P2 with no disrespect to Michael Blake, but with a slower driver in front of you. He was in the prime position, and he throws it away. Nicholas Helm. Now it's Brandon Tabone in second place. The Maltese. He's ahead of Jake Blackwell from Australia, so it's a multinational top 3. Here, Bibby. And then these 2.
Oh no!
Oh, there goes Tabone! What happened? Oh, and round goes another one. That's Chris Wood. Chris Wood's gone in the corkscrew, Alex, as well.
I will see if I can get that.
I think he looked like he was hit.
Let's get the Tabone one first and see what happened to Wood.
Here we go then.
Does he get a tap from Jake?
Is it that Australian netcode again that's going to rear its ugly head?
It could well be.
Yep.
100%. Miles between them. So frustrating. For both drivers as well.
And then we're going to see Chris Wood in the BMW. Coming over the crest at the top of the hill. Brakes hard. And who's that up the inside? A BMW. Absolutely flying in. Possibly Baird?
I think it might have been. Oh, it is as well.
Nomad car, isn't it? Oh, was it the one in front? It was the 2 in front of him, wasn't it? I think.
Oh, yeah.
Who was that in front of Wood? The one coming down the hill now.
It was Underhill.
Underhill. Undercooked. And underdone, I'm afraid, for Underhill. Mark Fletcher now finds himself up in 5th place. Laszlo Kotroj in 6th place as well. And I tell you what, they found themselves... Well, Kotroj started 6th. Fletcher started in 13th place. And just after 6.5 minutes of race 3, already up into the top 5. He's just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:17.835, as you can see there. A lot of movers and shakers, Alex, in this field. And maybe some more shaking going on in the cockpit for Helm, as Gafenku having a look up the inside.
I think that all come down to that big crash, really, that we saw earlier on. So many places gained for a lot of people out there.
It's all gone a bit crazy in this one, hasn't it, so far? But
Final race of the night.
it's that corkscrew, mate.
Usually that's what happens, isn't it? That final race.
Well, doesn't seem like anybody's gone off anywhere else other than the corkscrew.
Jump on board with Jake here.
You can hear all the stones and the gravel bouncing off the Porsche, as that's remnants from everybody else getting wide and bringing it back onto the surface. Track, of course, on iRacing does evolve. It does get dirt and stones and detritus and marbles thrown back onto the racing line if you're not careful. And Alex, especially after a full meeting, as Blackwell sets the fastest lap of the race on a just. Oh, he's lost it now! And that's unbelievable! What a commentator's curse that was!
You can't see me, but yeah, my hands are on my head.
Oh, Jake Blackwell! Oh, well, he was going so fast he didn't stop properly, did he? He got to turn 1. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. Poor Jake. It doesn't rain, but it pours for him over the years, I tell you that. Oh, that puts Fletcher up into 4th, Katrosh up to 5th. And Fletcher, Alex, after 16 races, he leads the championship now. He's 57 points clear.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's because the others really had a mediocre race too, didn't they? And although Camilleri is going along very, very nicely, he's up to 2nd in the championship.
One meeting can change it all, it would appear.
Yep, Pete Harrod's got a good chance of getting into the top 10 now with the demise of Tabone. And with Lockwood not being here this week, Pete Harrod could definitely move into the top 10.
See when that updates. Do we get a much closer that lap between Harrod and Fletcher there? So
yeah, looks like he's weathered the storm as Pete Harrod. Are the drivers going to be setting the car up in such a way, Alex, where tyres are going to be an issue by the end of the race, or do we think it's quite even in these? Is it still quite even in these GT cars?
I think it's no real problem. I mean, it's 20-minute race. You know, the tyres are usually good for an hour in hot conditions. Looks relatively cool today as well out there, so I think you could double stint these tyres, no problem here. So not going to be an issue. And that was really why I touched on earlier on that the Porsche doesn't have its kind of hasn't got a weak link here in this series that it might have. So
I think this track's great. I mean, we've all driven this track. I'm pretty sure everyone here has probably played Gran Turismo as well over the years. That's where it first came into my consciousness. Look at this for 19th and 18th, Warmingham and Woodhouse. Camilleri set the fastest lap in his pursuit of Lewis Bibby.
good move
Richard
from
Warmingham. It's nice to see that car in one piece,
Yeah.
mate, actually.
It does look nice with a front end on it. Oh, this looks tasty.
Oh no, what is this? It's Helm.
Oh well.
Oh, and bang! Gafenku, bang, and the bass is gone, by the looks of it. That was not the best, was it, from Gafenku? Just flung his car into there, no regard really for what was going to happen afterwards. And Fletcher and Baird now towards the corkscrew. I genuinely wince every time everyone gets to the corkscrew now, Alex, after we've had all these incidents. And Helm has decided that he's just going to go Helm for leather, I guess.
Yeah, what is he now behind? Half a second. So, oh,
Nice
takes a
couple
lot
course
of
there, isn't it?
takes a lot of that. It'll be don't think that's a slowdown, but it will be an off track there.
Brilliant stuff anyway. It's
And
exciting.
by the way, I'm not oblivious to all of the little puns that you've been throwing in tonight. You know, so.
Yeah, I would apologise, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Too right.
You got Fletcher and Baird there at 9th and 10th as well. 4 BMWs in a row. Pete Harrod has worked his way up to P3, Alex, as well. But he's got company from 2 of the fastest men in this series, so if he's going to hang on to the little bit of the bubbly, then he's going to have to not do that, I think.
I think he'll be okay here as long as he defends, which he does.
He's going to be under a lot of pressure into the final corner, though.
Bit wide, but it's not too bad.
He's very good, is Pete Harrod. I mean, many wins in the BSRTC Club Series champion as well.
Great exit from Fletcher, though. Should have this, I would think.
I think he was a major series champion as well, wasn't he, Pete Harrod?
I think you are right. I think he did win the majors.
I want to say he did, anyway.
Around the
Correct me if I'm wrong,
outside,
anybody.
come on, make the stick. Nope, good.
The long way around is not great in turn 1. What's that in the background? BMW going very wide. That was the Ferrari. It was. That's what happens when not a lot of the liveries are similar. It's Helm, I think, going very wide. Harrod knows how to defend, though, Alex. I know we've mentioned the BSRTC quite a lot tonight, but the drivers who've competed in that, there is some sort of correlation between them and this series, and they do know how to defend in these races, and they do know how to attack in these races too. I mean, we said that Ash Sutton, who won the the British Touring Car Championship, you know, he even says that he probably wouldn't have done quite as well without learning the racecraft in the BSRTC.
I think it makes a huge difference, to be honest. I mean, I can obviously have my own experience with it as well.
Well, you definitely learned quite a lot in your original year in that championship, as Gafencu sets the fastest lap, 1:17.5. That's impressive at this point of the race.
He's got enough time to close in on this little gaggle ahead as well, so it's not rule him out too much.
I think sim racing in general, though. As this is Gray and Gregory and Warmingham, and there goes Warmingham. Oh, lost it completely there. We've seen him sideways a lot tonight, haven't we? Rich Warmingham. I'm sure he'll do. I'm sure he'll come back stronger next time. 17th in the championship, though. He's had a reasonable season. But yeah, I think sim racing in general, Alex, there's been a big debate about it. Some drivers criticising it, some drivers really singing its praises. But one thing it definitely does do, without debate, is it provides hours and hours of practice and repetition for these drivers, and I think that's why a lot of these young drivers are pushing the envelope and actually, getting the most out of their talent, because they can get in the sim, they can do the laps over and over again and really maximize. Like I said, the more you practice, the better you get. It is not rocket science, and one of the things that a lot of the F1 drivers and things, without testing, and testing in lower formula is expensive as well, isn't it? Even in touring cars, or even in mini championships or Renault Clios or something, it's frighteningly expensive to go racing.
There's no comparison in terms of price between the sim and real testing.
Even if you get the best sim rig in the world, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot less than doing a full season of testing.
Yeah, no doubt. And you've only got to look at Max and Lando to know how useful it is. So it's going to be.
They do it for fun as well, which helps them too. I mean, it's. To me, it only helps because they're used to wheel-to-wheel racing on pretty much a daily basis, which you do not get. And I know you improved a lot in that respect. You know, when you started sort of doing a lot of races in the IndyCar, for instance.
Yeah, some would argue with you.
Well, you know, some didn't win the title, did they? So, you know.
Yeah, this is true. Well, thank you.
See, I might be 30 now, but it doesn't mean I've forgotten everything. Now then.
Don't even go there with age now.
I think yours starts with a 3 still, doesn't it? I think you're all right. So, Harrod.
This is the last year, I'm afraid.
Oh, so Harrod is still. Hey, well, you know, enjoy it. Enjoy it while it is. Hey, but you know, yeah, you're having fun. That's all that matters, isn't it? So.
And that's what you were talking about sim racing. I'm sorry while this battle is going on, but you think, you know, I was in my 20s when I started sim racing.
Yeah.
So maybe.
But that's the thing. You took it up late, and
Yeah.
and,
Oh, I did. Yeah.
and still have been very successful. This is what a lot of people can do. We see drivers in their 60s and 70s out there, don't we? In some of the series that we cover. So there's a whole series of 60 plus. Which is very good. So that's what I like about it. It brings racing back to basically all ages. You know, 7 to 77, you know, and above. And that's what iRacing does brilliantly as well. Is it always puts you with, because we are on the iRacing Esports Network, of course. iRacing always puts you against people of a very similar skill level. Always gives you that next level of competition to strive for. And I tell you something, Pete Harrod, it's all leveled out for him, hasn't it? Where he's not coming under a heck of a lot of pressure anymore from Mark Fletcher.
No, I think Mark needed to sort of pounce on him when he had the chance, and you kind
It's
of
that whole thing. If you end up at the guy in front's pace, don't you? And then
exactly
you
where I was
anywhere.
going to go. Yeah, exactly where I was going to go with that. He's just sort of settled into his rhythm now. Very difficult to get it done.
Into the corkscrew again. Then it's been the most difficult corner on the course, living up to its fearsome reputation tonight. And we are going to get one more lap in at Laguna Seca to conclude what's been a great night. Lewis Bibby has the helm. 0.8 seconds. Oh, there goes Harrod, unbelievable again. I tell you what, you can't make it up, can you?
Just lose that on his own?
You can't write this stuff. Pete Harrod coming out of the last corner, slowest corner on the course. Round she goes.
Yep, caught a bit of the curb on the inside. Car was a little bit unsettled, and then on the Astro.
Good spin turn, mind you. I know that's a very, very small consolation to him, but it was a good spin turn. And he's down to 11th. It's not going to be terrible for him, but boy, he would have loved that podium. In the end, it might be Mark Fletcher that's spraying the bubbly up on the podium. And for Lewis Bibby, Alex, well, he really has had a resurgence in this World GT Championship this season. He was 6th in the championship before this race, and out of the last corner, he's just got that one to go to stay ahead of Keith Camilleri and take race 3 here at Laguna Seca. Lewis Bibby wins that one, and he does that in fine style. Fletcher and Kotroj in really good finishing positions as well. 3rd and 4th, Kafenku, Shield, Fletcher, Baird, Helm. And we're going to see Harrod get 10th in the end, actually. Here's Vass having a battle with Gray. And Mike Gray, yeah, he does well to get that one on the line. Nicely done. Just behind Woodhouse there, Kaiser. See him coming across as well. We're just waiting on Simon Underhill. I think there he comes across the line to take the checkered flag and complete the evening's racing here on the iRacing Esports Network. Alex, that was tremendous fun. Really great meeting, and it bodes well for the rest of the season, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does. I'm looking forward to covering the next however many rounds we're covering now. So
Just
we're-
having a look
I was going
at
to say
the remaining.
we are signed up for the next 12 weeks, but obviously I know there are breaks in there. So, but we'll be the commentary crew, and Adam Barth will be joining us as well.
Yeah.
So, should be fun.
You would enjoy the rest of the season. Actually, some really good tracks in there. We go to Spa with the endurance pits next time out. Twin Ring, that's an endurance race. So that's just one race. Then it's Twin Ring Motegi GP circuit. Circuit of the Americas is next. Silverstone GP for the endurance race. I assume it's the new layout of Silverstone. So I say the current layout. It's not really new
Yeah.
anymore, is it?
Yeah.
But it is here.
You and I
Road America with the bend.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That's the chicane before the kink, isn't
Yep.
it? Am I right?
Correct.
So that could be interesting, yeah. Could be some overtaking into there. Okayama is next, and then the season finishes at the Watkins Glen Classic Boot, which I know a favourite of yours, pretty much a favourite of a lot of people on iRacing, actually.
Oh, always seems to have good participation, doesn't it? But yeah, I love that circuit. So.
Good. It's got a good flow. It's an old school circuit feel. It's got some fast corners, some slow corners, very technical. It's going to get the best out of these drivers, I think. But switching back to tonight's action, Lewis Bibby took home the final round of the evening ahead of Keith Camilleri. It was only 0.3 of a second in the end. And the man with the Maltese flag finishes in second place. Mark Fletcher in third. Laszlo Kotrosh in fourth. Richard Gafenku in fifth. Andy Scheel in P6. Billy Fletcher in seventh. Barry Baird ahead of Nicholas Helm for Nomad in eighth and ninth. Pete Harrod was so close to third place. He will be kicking himself for that spin on the penultimate lap. Miguel Freitas in 11th. Christian Rose in 12th. And then Jake Blackhall, even though he had that issue at the Andretti hairpin and the spin, still won the AM category, which is very good indeed, ahead of Edward Rapreja, and then Richard Warmingham in 15th, Ben Gregory 16th. A bit of a quiet one for Gregory tonight, but he finishes well that time. Mark Woodhouse in 17th, Mike Gray in 18th, Ethan Bass 19th, Jeroen Kaiser in 20th, Michael Blake in 21st, Brandon Tabone, he saw him going off at the corkscrew, Chris Wood, saw him going off at the corkscrew, Simon Underhill, we saw him crashing into Chris Wood at the corkscrew, and then the cars who retired from the race, Josh Rayfield in 25th, Pete Newman 26th, Michael Evdoka 27th place, and Dan Kraft at the back. So, yeah, Alex, I think there's been some big rounds for the championship tonight, haven't there? Evdoka has not had a great meeting. A couple of others have struggled.
As I said earlier on, how quickly one meeting can change it all around, you know. So,
It's happened. We've seen it so many times, haven't we? And you know, it's.
of course, it can easily swing back the other way just as quickly. So.
I think this is what people forget a lot of the time. You know, even in like a football match, somebody's 5-0 down at half time. You could easily score 5 yourself in the second half. You know, so it's that kind of thing. DNFs are just round the corner for everyone, and with the dropped rounds in play, certainly that can come into the championship standings as well. Now, do we have any drivers waiting to chat to us? Indeed, we do. And I think one of them will be Mark Fletcher. Mark, can you hear me, mate? We haven't quite got Mark at the moment, but I think we do have Christian Rose. Christian.
Good evening.
Hello. While we wait for Mark to come back, yeah. So I'll put him back in the waiting area just in case he doesn't come back on with an F word or two, for instance. But yeah, Christian, that looked like eventful stuff out there once again. And final race seemed to go pretty well for you.
Yeah, it was about time one of the races went my way. Bit of a disaster really this evening. Had pace for pole and didn't get the lap together, and yeah, just being spun around in race 2 really put paid to my evening. But at least I managed to finish.
Yeah, it's one of those it's one of those tracks where it can happen. You get yourself into a bit of a nightmare situation, I think, over a meeting, but pulled it back quite well. The racing looked like it was quite good out there, but looked like a few people were just getting a little bit over eager. Is that fair?
I think that with this track, you've really got to be very late on the brakes to even potentially try and get alongside. And that's why I experienced in the Porsche, mainly into turn one. You just have to hope that they knew you were coming and that they give you the space. But it was in the best part. It was good, fantastic racing between most of the drivers.
Yeah, we head off to Spa next time for the endurance race. What are you thinking about that one?
Well, Spa's a circuit everyone knows really well, so I'm expecting it to be just as close as it is tonight. Obviously, being the endurance race, bit of strategy. I think the Porsche going to struggle in the first and last sector, but I think we're going to be really strong in the middle part of the lap. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, it's going to be a tough race, that's for sure. But looking forward to it at the same time.
All right. Well, thanks for giving us some of your time tonight again, and yeah, well driven out there. And can you give your shout outs and thank yous?
Yep. First of all, thanks to everyone in CQR again for their effort tonight. Yourselves, the broadcasters, iRacing Esports Network, all the admins, SimSports USA, and
I think we just lost. You just cut out a bit there, mate. I'm not sure if you want to say the end of it again.
yeah, just SimSports USA, similar to all the other sponsors of the league.
Perfect. That was exactly where you cut out as well. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate. See you later. Christian Rose there, Alex, and yeah, it was one of those sort of messy ones for him tonight, wasn't it? But not really of his own making.
No, I think so. I think a bunch of people in the same sort of situation really tonight. So, but yeah, he was looking good in practice and in queue as well. So, like you say, it's good to hear him think that he had the pace for pole.
Should definitely be up there at the next race meeting. I believe you've got Mark Fletcher there. We'll see if we can get him this time.
Mark, you there this time?
I am indeed.
You are indeed. Excellent. I think we're going to have to turn you
Very
up.
quiet,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so give me a second. I'll tell you what, will you take it away and I will adjust his volumes.
Perfect. Welcome to the commentary box, Mark. I heard you were up here quite recently yourself anyway.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing a bit of the commentary. I just thought, see if I could do what you guys do, and no, it's really good fun. It certainly brings a different aspect to the racing, doesn't it? When you know what's going on as well. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's a lot of plates you've got to keep spinning. I think sometimes. I think it's one of those things. It's harder than it looks, but it's probably easier than it sounds. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. But yeah, Mark, well done tonight. Anyway, it seemed like a strong meeting for you. Took the championship lead, by all accounts. Anyway, at least that's what it was after the second race. Take us through that first race because it did not look like you were going to win that one.
No, it was as Mr. Mo said, a lot of us had the pace in quality, we just couldn't get the lap together. And that's just one of those things. I was down in 8th like the last minute. I managed to put it 4th. I thought, okay, here we go, because I've been racing with Keith this week, Keith Connelly. He's fast. And we're battling at the top of the championship anyway with Laszlo and Christian and Michael until obviously his rough meeting. But you get dropped round to.
Yep.
But yeah, I just needed to get that. I needed to get behind Keith because I knew that he would pull away, practice stuff. So I managed to get that done into turn 1. And Keith's a great guy. He's not going to send it straight at the inside of you and put you both in the championship at this stage. And then Michael just seemed to miss his breaking point at the top of the top of the corkscrew, and Slow had an off track and had to give back time, which luckily let me through from the maiden win in the GT series.
Yeah, it was quite a crazy finish, and in the middle of the race we had a which you won't have seen. There was a 6-car pile-up at the back straight as well, so there was all sorts going on, and yeah, we struggled to keep track of it at times, but it was really fun to be back in the World GT Championship, and even the last race, mate, you got up to third place, after starting 13th on the grid. You must be happy.
Yeah, it was it was a good night. I'm pleased with the way it went. I needed. I've been leading the championship up from sort of round 2 up to the last round, because I needed to drop around.
Yeah.
And it's just about 0x's. I'm saying to all our guys and everyone that I've not won a race yet, apart from tonight. But you get 5 extra championship points for 0x races. So Keith tonight had 3 0x races.
Oh wow.
He gets an extra championship, extra 15 points that you wouldn't get. And luckily I had 2, so 2x in the raid.
Well, I've just got the it looks like the updated standings here, and it looks like you've got a 48-point lead now.
That'll do me. I'll have that.
So yeah, looking good up there. Alex, is there anything you've got for Mark? While so obviously, I know you enjoyed a lot of his moves through the field.
Yeah, no, nothing really more to add. Just really congratulate him on a good meet and getting into the top spot in the championship. Long way to go, and see how the rest of the season pans out.
A couple wins in the endurance series, but no, yeah, it's really good. It's been a great championship so far. So.
Hopefully, you can keep it going into the next round. We believe it is at Spa. I'm not sure what the calendar says, but yeah, enjoy that one, and just give your shout outs to your team and anybody who you'd like to say a quick thank you to before we go.
Yeah, so just all the guys at Radical, Crash Simulations, Joel Realtime in, Armour, the Motap podcast guys. I heard you guys getting a bit who it was.
I said it was a podcast.
Yeah, it's the development drivers for our team kind of thing.
What does it stand for?
I like this. My opinion and therefore fact.
Nice, I like it.
There you go. That's. I'm just gonna say that every time then.
And then just the guys at U-Turn Racing and personal sponsors, Sim Racing Studios.
Nice one. Well, it's a pleasure to speak to you, mate. I think that's the first time we've chatted. So, thanks for coming up into the commentary box and giving us your take on tonight's events. And we'll see you. We'll see you next time.
Brilliant. Cheers, Andrew. Cheers, Alex. Speak soon.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Take care. Mark Fletcher there, and very, very happy with tonight. Understandably so, Alex. He started off the evening in about 5th place, ended the night at the top of the championship.
I know. I'll repeat myself once again. It's just crazy how quickly one meeting can change things all around. So, yeah, I think
even though it's late, I think if he does go for a little bit of the bubbly, I think he's going to be very, very happy indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
Right then. Well, thanks everybody for joining us here tonight on the iRacing Esports Network, presented by Apex Racing TV tonight. Andrew Woodhouse, Alex Simpson. Alex, it's been a pleasure, mate. Good to be back in the commentary box with you after so long, and hopefully the rest of the season is going to be just as good as that.
I hope so.
All right. Well, there you go, man. A few words, but perfect. Thanks a lot, mate. And thank you to everybody for watching here tonight. This has been Season 6 of the World GT Championship. We'll be back next week for more. So stick around and we'll see you next time. Cheers.